Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have a bit of a knockdown drag-out fight for you guys today. With the Colonel, I am free Elo right now, also known as Quicksilver, nice name there, I quite like it, is going against the Brigadier General CP Banana, who Brigadier Generals are very good. I've been crushed by 3 of them recently as the time of recording, and it's very scary. So we do have a fair number of community casts for you guys, as I am of course either on vacation or just returning from it after having gotten married, so I'm doing my best. I had a couple days of some frantic games, just sort of when I was back in town, not really too much, just wasn't asleep. But, well, that's the life. So this is, I believe, going to be Israel Mech from I'm Free Elo right now, and the opener is very interesting. The Siphon up here, safe. Usually when I try and go this far forward, I will lose my Recon Helo. And what's interesting, let's see, this is USA, could be NORAD, not really sure. By the veterancy, it's a general deck, or these are militia. Nope, M1A2 Abrams, so it cannot be a mech deck. And this is pretty good. Cobra goes down. It's interesting to see such high-level players fight over the town, because this is something you see all the time on, well, not lower level, but I suppose less experienced gameplay as well, and this just whole big dump. All this stuff. We have a para back here, it's already using a fair number of spikes. M1A2 has not taken a hit yet, but the sheer amount of firepower available to Israel is just insane. And then over the left hand side we also have double Tiran 5 Blazer and a Bardelas with anti-air, so pretty nice, decently expensive for all of that, but still pretty effective complement of anti-air and just screening tools. Now, there is nothing that can take on the M1A2 on its own other than the para, and that M1A2 does need to be very careful. So Nighthawk coming in, and that is going to be away. Yeah, Nighthawk got away, and fortunately for free Elo, did not get that many kills on the Nighthawk. So it looks like he was a little bit behind. Ooh, did the para die? Yeah, the para's dead. Oh, that is rough. I don't know what else is here that can really kill that. Now, Quicksilver slash free Elo does like to use MAR 290s, actually how I picked up that habit as well, and you can easily see why. The M1A2 was stunned for a little bit, it then got shaken, and this is the problem with 2As. There's nothing left on that main gun at all, and much as they are very good for forest fighting, I actually would have taken probably a couple of 2Bs. Now Quicksilver is a better player than I am, so far be it from criticized when he's beating, potentially, a major general in the opener at least. But, I don't know, I've been enjoying 2Bs lately if I need something other than forest fighting, just because they don't do this, they don't run out of ammunition. Could have maybe gotten a point or two of chip damage, maybe a little bit more damage on the rifleman as well. And you should see Quicksilver, I'd expect to see him spread out relatively soon, because, yeah, he has a Rovite going over to this side, and if you have the town, then you can at least have a little bit of an advantage actually cutting off the northeast, well, I guess northwest from this perspective corner of Alpha, and making sure that the blue 4 player can't really get in there and use it to its advantage. This M1A2 has been out in the open for so long, just fine, it's really annoying. Really very annoying, and now it looks like free Elo is going to be doing what I guess is the usual advice for this side of the board. Make sure that you have recon infantry forward in those trees, and you can keep seeing everything, because the longer this goes on, the worse it's getting for free Elo, because the M163 CS is just making the Rovite relatively ineffective. This M1A2 has free reign, and where we saw earlier, free Elo is just getting a lot of nice kills on CP Bananas, well, Captain Bananas opener. Now it's the other way around. This M1A2 is just sitting here, and every single shot is a kill, and it's so brutal indeed. Fees here, a little close maybe, 1 hit. And yeah, 4 damage per hit, not going to be a 2-shot kill. Fuse, of course, is a little bit cheaper, a little bit slower, and only half the ammunition of the para, but with some nice other efforts, I think this still could be very useful. And as soon as that half fuse comes out, the M1A2 is back in the smoke, so he was watching. Definitely was watching, actually. It looks like the M1A2 is back behind it, and is really just looking for an opportunity as the riflemen go forward. Chaff going forward, I mean, riflemen are true chaff, they're not militia, but they are just 10 points. And for 10 strength, M60 is not great, M16 isn't great, but they can fight against some damaged Rovite, okay, and should be able to do that sort of job, such that it is. Now, Not a lot of movement over in Foxtrot. Oh man, this is great. I love the DSR Nimrod. For those of you guys who aren't aware, this helicopter has 2975 meter range, some of the fastest anti-tank missiles in the entire game, with 28 AP power, 70% accuracy, but a 60% stabilizer. You move this thing over, and those missiles just wreck enemy armor, often before they can even really target this thing and get out and dodge, so it can be really brutally effective. Now, this is something I've seen before. It reminds me of a game a long time ago with a, I believe, captain, or maybe he was at the time a major, called Ultramarine, where he just had riflemen in boxes, more riflemen in more boxes, and it was a general deck, so the riflemen aren't that effective on their own, but it was just numbers, 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 and sure, it'll work when there's just not anything standing in your way, but the second there's a lot of guns, this doesn't really work all that well. Of course, Rovate will die to it, and 1-3A3s will be able to get kills there. It's just, I don't know, it's not cheap. These are, what, 45-point triple stacks? And there's 2 of them out, that's 90 points, that's nearly a minute's worth of your points gone into lots of riflemen, which I guess the combination with the Nighthawk does take out this position, and that is fine. If you guys start moving forward, I would probably split them and move them forward as well, but again, I'm giving feedback to Brigadier General. And I guess I do just want to say on that note, it is so much easier to backseat drive than it is to play during the match. You can tell what you would do, what you would want to do, what you wouldn't want to do, just so much easier. It isn't really a true comparison. I've seen games before where I'm sitting there going, ah, yeah, that's dumb. But then when I'm in that game, sometimes I make that decision. So there's a little bit of give and take there. It's not like I'm trying to be overcritical. Of course, I never am. So FB's moving forward, and this is, oh man, that is very nice. I wish they would target more center mass, because it always seems like they pick off one group, then another group, then a third group, and a little bit better center mass would take out all of them at once. Of course, the FBs have 2 volleys, and that does kill 2 riflemen. It's about 20 points per turn, so the FB needs to get a lot more than that in order to be effective, and needs to be very, very, very careful, because he's a big target. Something's shooting at him, and I don't know, ooh. Yeah, so people won't think about it very often, but Hawk Pip 3s have 3,500 meter range against helicopters, some of the longest range against helos in the entire game. You have to be very aware of that. With Thunderbolts, these guys survive so much fire, it's crazy. Okay, yeah, okay, there he goes. I swear, whenever I have a pretty similar setup, the enemy does get out. But this one, it doesn't look like it. So there's the M1A2, Hafiz is there, ready to engage, 1 missile away, and I wish that Nimrod was there to double tap him, because for the Hafiz's hit, if the Nimrod had hit as well, that would have been it for the M1A2, would not have been able to deal with that. No sir, not even close, no chance. And this is getting a little bit claustrophobic for Captain Banana. Interesting. I thought he was making a lot of progress, and it looks like this is a general pullback. M1A2 needs to heal up, Hawk Pip 3 can't survive on its own, and there's a Merkava, again just a 2A, engaging with the Rangers. Now, that is a little bit risky, and it does look like the Macbeth goes down. That's rough. That's rough. And this seems like a game Israel General and USA I've heard play somewhat similarly in terms of their reliance on their air tab. You can definitely see that from the USA player, but not so much from Quicksilver, who is more reliant on ground units, the MAR-290, just moving forward steadily, increasing that pace, keeping the pressure on, and this will panic and stun everything back here. If only it was a little bit farther back, I guess, but hard to recognize that during the game, plus there's a delay time. I think it was about that position. MAR-290 reloads quickly, but not that. Okay, this is probably out of ammunition. This is my least favorite thing about mortars, because if they run out of their primary and they have a secondary weapon, they'll just go forward. There was no need for that to die. No need at all. What's interesting, I don't know if he saw the fog, or if he's just counter-battering the MAR-290. Either one could be it. Now we do see some movement over in Foxtrot. Yeah, I mean, Captain Banana needs to get that going, because all of these, yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. Split the Rovate up, split up the Zeldas. This is what the Riflemen could have done, instead of staying in one group, and now there's a big screen, and this can really, even if it dies to pretty much everything that has some sort of forward gun, it will at least take a long time for that to happen. And during that time, that's where you are able to respond. That's where you're able to do something about the enemy push. And this is just, it's a nice screen. It's going to keep them from reasonably being able to cap hardly anything. And free elo is going to go up to +1 tick with an Auxiliary dropping off Dallas there. Now, Baraktu is anti-air, and I think he's tired of that Nighthawk. Yeah, one hit. Almost wish this guy hadn't turned. Yeah, he's tired of the Nighthawk. That's just unfortunate that guy got out. Well, you can't get him all the time. Alright. Barkon's not quite within range. This looks like a longbow, I'd say. Down-vetted? Yep, down-vetted longbow. So that's going to be Veterancy 2, those Hellfire missiles, and it's very expensive. It will take a while to rank up, and it might not have that chance. Interesting. Oh, come on, stunned. There it is. That's the kill. Such a great work on that mock bet. Matches range with the longbow too, so in theory the longbow could have gotten that kill, but it looks like we got the stun, got all that stuff going forward, and yeah, right in time too. Okay, so there's a little bit of a lull. Let's speed things up a bit, and looks like this is the time where free elo just squeezes that noose a little bit. Getting some ATGMs up. This is just, look at all this. If you're not running into an ATGM, you're running into anti-air, and I guess I wish there was a little bit more recon on the ground here. But the one that moved forward earlier did some pretty nice work. Currently on there. Bad. Okay. The exit good here. Curious why it's not going over into alpha. Maybe he's used to people sort of coming through on this side. It does happen from time to time. And this is probably going to be split up, put into a screen. We'll probably see another CV buy. And why not tick +3 if you can? Force blue, cap Foxtrot to stay in the game. Because of course, +3 tick is +45 points every minute. Does look like Fox is capped. And I don't know. I'd say it's probably likely that free elo is up on kills as well. Although that M182 is trying to disprove that as quickly as possible. And, oh, where's the fees? Might have missed it dying, I don't know. Is it? It's not reloading. Yeah, I guess so. Well, that is a bit of a problem, but the spikes from a couple different angles. If anything moves in here, it's dead. Doesn't really matter what it is. Now, people will put howitzers, mortars, all sorts of artillery fire on those thin lines in Delta just for that. But it's still a bit of a guessing game, and it does take time as well. And oh, yeah, look at that. Of course, I do these blind, and if you do like this sort of thing, if you do like the community cast and just sort of enjoying having some of these nice casual, well, not really casual for either of these two while they're in it, but nice games of Wargame Red Dragon, please don't hesitate to leave a like, share, subscribe, all that YouTuber nonsense. It really does help me out, and it's been a particularly tough 2 months. We had a couple months of big growth in the channel, and then a couple months going back, and this is something about being a YouTuber I've heard of before, where if you have these quick views and quick subscribers and all that, and it goes away, people often quit altogether and they go, oh, well, there's no point to it. And you gotta sit back and realize, look, you had those numbers or worse before, and I certainly did. I had singular views every week, right? I had maybe 2 views a week, I had maybe 5 views a week. So I'm happy with what I've got, and I'm happy to make it better, keep doing this, keep enjoying my hobby, and if you guys like that, well, so much the better for me. So F-15C Eagle coming forward, Barak 2 coming around, and I'm curious, I want to take a look at this. So the Barak 2 has 50% ACM, and the Derbies are short range but high accuracy. MRAMs have better range, a little bit worse accuracy, the same ECM. I'm curious who takes this fight. Let's see. Oh man, rolling a miss on 70% is a little rough. The Raven follow up, looking for that Schnav, does get the kill. Very nice engagement from Captain Banana. A little bit lucky, I'd say, just because, well, an upvetted plane missed a 70% shot. Granted, it's 70% minus, well, it does have to deal with the enemy ECM, which is very high, so that kind of explains it. And that's going to leave the road open to those Nighthawks. But it is very slow, it is very incremental, and I don't know if it's going to be fast enough, particularly when Alpha gets capped as well. There's a +2 potentially on the board, and with 20 minutes left, that +2 would not be... Actually, yeah, it would be. Huh. If free elo keeps the +2, that's going to be enough to close out the game on points, which it is worth pointing out this game does not go to full time, which of course is 40 minutes. With 35:06 and about 2.5 minutes of prep time, this is going to be a game that does probably close on either a surrender or points. Now, one of the things about when newer players play the game is that it's very static, and there's not a lot going on. There's a lot of artillery usually, there's a lot of dug-in positions. This reminds me so much of that, honestly, and it's just a little bit odd, because this is the second parallel we've had. We've had the first one, where both players went directly for this one town, and now we've had the second, where there's not a lot of probing going on, seemingly from the blue player. There's not a ton from the red player, just because it looks like, well, whenever you buy a CV, it's about a minute, minute and a half of your, ooh man, triple rifleman. This is what that screen was set up to avoid, and it's not quite enough, but Oxfords are tough nuts to crack. 10 frontal armor, and triple guns. They will be able to do some pretty decent damage into this rifleman, maybe even killing most of a unit before dying, and double rifleman, I think that Oxyrite might have killed a unit. Maybe against 3, not so much, but good response. Eye Shermans, Zeldas, everything else coming over here, and you need to get a lot of recon in this section if you feel that people are going around you in Alpha, because people will take stuff over and through this little cauldron all the time, and it can be reasonably effective. It's pretty far from reinforcements. They do tend to be isolated, shall we say, but if they can get kills that are worth it, then so be it. Now Nighthawk coming in, and that Nighthawk needs to die. That's just so crazy. So good. Yeah, they're only 10-point infantry, but every time that free elo has been moving forward, that Nighthawk has been there to even out the score. It's even taken out a couple of really high value, fragile, and low availability weapons teams in the town in the middle, Delta and Alpha. So that's nothing to scoff at. It will eventually turn the tide of the game if it hasn't already. And with 19 minutes and 40 seconds left, there is enough time for Captain Banana to do a lot of work. So, I don't know, it's a stiff road to climb, that's for sure, but it is theoretically possible, and the last couple minutes have been very much in favor of the blue player. Now, Triple M1 Abrams, this is probably a precursor to a push. I'd say these Abrams probably have riflemen behind them, and those riflemen will pop forward, M1 Abrams behind, and that should be a way to clear out this town in the middle, potentially. Now, Kurnos 2000 is so good. Look at that, 1-2 kills right there. Patriot might get the kill, no. This is the thing, when you only see the signature, it's a little hard to guess which one is which, and if you guess wrong, you're gonna get wrecked by the very anti-air that you were meant to destroy, so it is a little risky doing that. Most people will just take the first available targets, and then turn around and get out. But here it is, Triple M1 Abrams, and also the Chinook. Yeah, I don't know, I mean, I guess this is the answer to always getting one shot or having your rifleman die or something like that. Just seems a little bit unsupported for a lot of points. There's 130, 195 points there. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, this is how I always feel playing against Brigadier Generals as well. It's like, even if you have a good opener, it just gets bad really quick. And the difference is that free elo has the setup to deal with it. Look at these ATGMs. Those M1 Abrams are not going to get out clean. Tier on 5 Blazers looking for that kill, or even looking for another mortar, which again looks like it did run out of uses. 130 points in kills on the ground, and maybe even the mortar to boot for another 40. Could be very nice. Yep, there it is. And I think that was really a missed opportunity for Captain Banana. So, you know, you don't get them all. But, let's see. 10 minutes left in the game, going up to speed 2 again. And I'm really curious how this is going to turn out. Ephes is there. Curious that there's no new para by. But yeah, this is good. Kill out those riflemen, and then just sweep and clear around the other side of the cauldron. Make sure nobody is getting in behind you, and that'll leave enough space to get another CV. Pop back up to +2, which admittedly, 231 point lead at 16 minutes is very nice. Very nice indeed. It just need to be careful with this Nimrod. Yeah. This is what always happens to me with whenever I put stuff in the woods. It looks like Captain Banana's definitely used to taking those things out. And he's just gone first one, second, third over here, looking for all the usual spots, taking out this fragile infantry, and giving free elo a really tough time. Looks like some of that was also spotting from some recon infantry up the woods on that side, but yeah, Delta looks a lot more open than it did about 10 minutes ago. Alpha has, of course, been decapped, and that incremental pressure from Captain Banana with just dedicated artillery, making sure he has recon forward, all of that has been just very, very brutal. Nighthawk, let's see what he's going for. Yeah, I'll get the kill. You can also see there's a response with the Laish, and here comes the Command Abrams. So it does look like Captain Banana is looking to get this to 0-0. He wants to stop that point bleed. With 15 minutes left, he needs to get more than just a +1 now, but it is very close. +1 would just barely do it, and that threshold between needing a +1 and a +2 can be very decisive. If you can stay away from needing a +2, it can often be a game-winning thing. Now, Alpha, goodness, really? I've never seen this before, ever. I've never seen people go around with that much stuff. I mean, there has to be more stuff back here. Let's take a quick peek. Oh, Humvee CP. Not all that much, really. That must have gone around this way and through and in. And I guess if he figures it can survive, then why not? Okay? So, it is a +1 for Captain Banana. I wouldn't expect that to last necessarily. Oh, don't use that on that. Come on, target the Nimrod. It's within range. Target him, target him, target him. Come on. Get the M182. There it is. There's the right target. 5 damage. Second missile. Oh, no. Okay, you see that pitch right there? This was because the Nimrod was right-clicked on the M1A2 or told to stop. Because of that, the missile took a little longer to get out. 1 strength remaining on the M1A2. That has to hurt. That just, it's so rough there. You hate to see it. You really do. There's the M1A2. Come on, move the Nimrod forward. Come on, come on, come on. Ugh. Yeah, okay. He's got it. Yeah, very well. Nimrods aren't magic. The second you start throwing them, they are 80 points, which I used to think these guys sucked for 80 points. Now I think they're a bargain. Now I think I'd buy these at 90. And maybe not 100. 100 would be a little rough for it because there are just so many better options at that point. But, yeah, I think it's fine. Honestly, I really like Nimrod's cost point. I think it's an underrated unit from Israel, which maybe the Kfir C7 is not, but it's always nice to see unique bombers, unique plane tabs. Plane tabs, it's very easy to get meta very quickly. Kurnos, and no kill on the Patriot. Command Abrams is exposed, and that bombing run did do what it was intended to do, clearing out stuff for this town to survive. So, let's see. Another CV buy. It's curious. Well, I guess you don't really need it at this point, so let's take a look. 13 minutes left, 21 to 254. My guess is that Captain Banana is going to realize in a couple of minutes he just doesn't have the strength to keep this up. Potentially when Free Elo gets the kill on a CV back here, because it isn't very well protected. And while Free Elo doesn't necessarily know that, it is a reasonable estimation. And 3 Sherman's gone. 45 points right there. That Nighthawk has definitely paid for himself. Nice. Okay, so here are the Zeldas. It looks like Free Elo is interested in going over into Alpha, making sure that he does know what's going on there, and I gotta say the Spike teams have saved this game so much, just so many free kills. And, okay, this should be good. Zeldas have 3 guns each, and they can really just mulch infantry a lot better than I expect. Here's the Mar. Oh, let's say the Mar gets it. Okay, guess not. Not a bad guess for the position, should be pretty close to there. 15C. Yeah, this seems like a last push. There's another longbow, there's more riflemen, there's more riflemen on the other side. Those riflemen will die. The F-15C Eagle, if he goes out, that is going to be so catastrophic. Yep, there's the kill. And down goes that plane. Command Abrams over here, but it is too little too late for Captain Banana. This push just feels a little bit anemic, even with the longbow. Even with all of this, it does look like a Red 4 is going to be able to keep an eye on this. Of course, it's not true Red 4, but the Red 4 that we have right now. And that's, yeah. +1 now doesn't win the game. So, as soon as there's a CV buy for Alpha or Free Elo, then that's a denial right there. If you can get up to this known position on a command tank, that's a deny right there. And Captain Banana can't win the game without pushing out somebody else. Well, pushing out Free Elo somewhere else is the better way of putting it. So M1A2 completely healed up. Very nice repair micro from Captain Banana. And between the Thunderbolt and the Nighthawk, pretty impressive plane tab. I'm curious why he's been diving so deep with the Thunderbolt. Sure, this time it might get out, but it is very much a might. That Barkon had even 1 more missile, that would have been definitely a place for the Thunderbolt to have died. So, it's rough. That's more what I'm used to. The first one came in and died. The second one sort of came in, got hit, and then went back out, which is definitely what I'm more used to seeing in this game. Yasser Nimrod, and here's the time for the trap. No smoke. And if Nimrod gets a second missile... Ooh, doesn't even need it. Very nice. Look at this. 80-point Hafiz, killing at 180 points, and then promptly dying too. Oh, man. There are a couple of units that just make you go, why even is this in the game when nobody else has access to it? The Longbow's definitely one of those. It's one of those units. It is a unicorn. It is just that good. And there's no two questions about it. So, that's the CV kill by Militia in Alpha. No more point gain for Captain Banana, and if there's a CV from into Alpha from free ELO, that's probably going to finish it. Let's see, he hasn't caught it yet. I probably would have at this point, but then again, I'm not going to really be able to scooch a win from the Brigadier General very often either. So, if at all, I don't think I have quite yet. I've beaten the odd Colonel, I beat a fair number of Majors, I've beaten the occasional Lieutenant Colonel, although it is usually a pretty tough fight. But I am not anywhere close to taking on even a single Brigadier General on his worst day. It's just not going to happen. So, this is some very impressive gameplay from free ELO. Look at that, even using Messiah on. Holy cow, they did good work. Interesting. Well, I guess it's a mech deck, you have lots of infantry slots. Okay, that makes sense. Doubled FFB, Nighthawk's still alive, and down he goes. That Nighthawk finally just eating a couple of shots from the gun on the Machbat and the missile on the Shinnok too. So very much a good thing there, and that is going to be the surrender from Captain Banana. So 2685 kills for Captain, 2785 losses for Captain. So pre-elo did go positive by just a little bit. Looks like there was some friendly fire there, because it's not reflected on the kill list for Captain Banana. So let's take a look. Merkava 2A. Humvee, Rangers, Riflemen, Rangers, killing your opponent's recon infantry that early is so clutch. That's so good. Para did alright. M2A2, yeah, don't think that really... Oh no, jeez, we missed the first M1A2 death. Interesting. But it looks like there were two that were gone for the other player, and that does make that surrender a lot more understandable. So, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough, fair enough. Kronos 2000, double Hogpip 3, and a Pivads. Pretty good return on investment there. You can't always rely on getting 3 kills with your seed. And Nimrod's just screening. Let's see, where's the other kill on BCP? And there's the kill on the Nighthawk. Very nice. So thank you to Quicksilver / I'm free ELO right now for sending in this replay, for allowing me to do this community cast. And it's been a while, man. Let's hang out. Let's play some games together soon. And until then, we'll see you guys around.